So in Revelation 14, I've likened it to all the fireworks are going up all at once. This is the end before John sorts it out. And so we've seen the 144,000 standing on Mount Zion with Jesus. We know it's the end when we see that. But then these three angels show up. And in very rapid fire, the first one is saying, the judgment has come. The second one is saying, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. That is Satan's headquarters. And the third one goes back to the 666. Rapid succession. These are things that are happening. So we see in Revelation chapter 14, verse 6. Then I saw another angel flying directly overhead and with an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. And he said in a loud voice, fear God, give him glory, because the hour of judgment has come. Worship him who has made heaven and earth and sea and springs of water. Boom, that's it. That's the bottom line. Time's up. Game over. You got one choice. Worship God. Oh wait, you got two choices. Worship God or burn in hell. Not much of a choice. However, narrow is the gate of people that choose to worship God. Now the angels and demons, they don't get a choice at all. Only people have a choice because of Jesus. Because of God's incredible love. Because of Jesus. He's given us a choice. And even here at the very end, he's given mankind a choice. But don't forget, this battle is in heaven and on earth simultaneously. So it's not a surprise to see the second angel come. The second angel comes in verse 8. And another angel, a second angel, followed saying, and now he's directing this one directly towards the belly of the beast, towards the devil himself. Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all the nations drink the wine of passion of her sexual immorality. Now, we're going to unpack that in the later chapters of Revelation, and we'll unpack it in some detail because Babylon is the stand-in for Satan's headquarters. This is a way of telescoping it right now to saying Satan's headquarters is falling. Jerusalem is Jesus' headquarters. Babylon is Satan's headquarters. And Babylon will fall in a day. Babylon is the place in which the devil will rule, the Antichrist will rule, the false prophet will rule. It is a historical place founded by Nimrod in Genesis 10:10 that takes Israel captive as discipline during the 7 years of captivity. But it's Babylon in the heavenlies that is the stand-in for Satan's throne. Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. And we'll see that it falls very quickly. Boom, boom, this is the end. Another angel, third angel. Verse 9, the third one follows them, saying in a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on its forehead or on his hands, he will also drink the wine of God's wrath, poured full strength into the cup of his anger. He will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And all the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day or night. These worshipers of the beast and its image, and whoever receives the mark of its name. Remember, we saw that already in the previous chapter. What's the mark? 666. What does it mean? I don't know. Many people have tried. We don't know. So, what happens? The angel is saying, the first one is saying, this is the end, you better worship God. Next one, Satan's kingdom is going to fall, and then there's a warning. The devil and his antichrist and a false prophet now sole control the whole global system. You can't buy, you can't sell, you have to worship the beast. You're locked in. You've got to get this figure, and if you do that, you will experience the full wrath of God. I'm left with one question. How can people be so blind to miss what's going on around them? How can they look at lies and perversion all around them and think it's the truth? How can this Antichrist look so good and be so bad? How can a global world order look so good economically, religiously, peacefully, and so deceive the world that we willingly participate, whatever the mark is. We're not dragged into this. People aren't dragged screaming and kicking, I don't want the mark of the beast. The implication is we stand online practically to get it because there's money to be made. And wow, look at this beast. Look at the amazing medical miracles he can do. He was dead and now he's alive. Who wouldn't want that? Give me some of that. And if we have to sell our souls in the process, well, whatever. And little by little, traffic in the immorality of God. Notice it says, drink of the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality. That's often code for idolatry. When the Bible talks about the sexual immorality of his people, it always goes hands in hand with worshiping demons and the mindsets of demons. Because the weapons that we fight with, Paul will tell the Corinthians, are not the weapons of this world. On the contrary, the weapons that believers have through the Word of God have divine power to demolish strongholds and every lofty pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. We take captive every thought. Notice where it comes in. The thoughts, the thinking, the strange thinking. We take captive every thought and we make it obedient to Christ. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. But in this crazy world, we're told what is wrong is right and what is right is wrong. And all of a sudden we find out the entire world becomes deceived. We think it's our lives. That's the greatest lie of them all. It's my life. I get to do with it what I want. I'm the master of my own fate. I can chart my own course. I will make a name for myself and I will be great. That's the lie right from the Garden of Eden. Has God said? He knows that if you eat of this fruit, you'll be just like him. Or at Babel. Let's build this tower up into heaven and make a name for ourselves. Or let's trust in all of our wisdom, all of our science, all of our medicine, all of our commerce, everything that we can do to say we are the greatest people on earth. Just look at what we've accomplished. But don't look at all of the immorality that is taken to be there. All of the lying, all of the murder. Why did I pick lying and murder? Because that's what Jesus said, John 8. Devil's a liar and a murderer. Lying is a perversion of that which is the nature of God, that which is true. Anything that God says, just twist it. Murder is a destruction of the image of God. Whether it's actual murder of people or children, or it's the actual, or it's a murdering of the image of God. That's why Jesus says, the law says, thou shalt not kill. But I say, if you even call your brother a fool, you're worthy of the fires of hell. Why? Not overstatement. It's because you're attacking the very image of God when you call your brother a fool. And that's worthy of capital punishment. Lying and murder. So we become seduced. And the whole world becomes seduced. And there will come a day of reckoning, and that's what happens. So verses 12 and 13 is the caution for those believers that are alive during this time. Here's a call for the endurance of the saints. Those who keep the commandments of God and their faith in Jesus. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. That's what God is saying. I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, write this, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. He's talking about the tribulation. Blessed indeed, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, for their deeds follow them. Why do we think that being a Christian means that we're guaranteed a peaceful, quiet, prosperous life in this world? As if it's a right. Suffering is built in to being a Christian. And there are times when the suffering is going to be intense. There are times when the suffering is what God does to purify our hearts. The last verses of chapter 14, from verse 14 to 20, talks about the harvest that's coming, and it's a harvest of judgment. After that, the last set of judgments.